suavecito, what, Phins up today. Phins up today. Oh, Phins up, baby. Miami, stand up. This is Phins Talk today. Let's go. Sun up over there. Game day on the brain. From the tailgate smoke to the hard count rain. Orange aqua on my back. Crowd shaking every seat. We talking ball, talking heat, turn it up, feel that beat. Phins talk today. Phins talk today. Phins up all day from the 305. We ride that way. Bobby Phins talk. Phins Sammy on the way. Miami, vamos. It's Phins talk today. Hey, hey, hey. It's Phins talk today. Who you reppin'? Who you riding? Miami. Who you riding? Dolphins. We break it down, break it live, every snap, every drive. Hey, Phins talk today. Phins up all day from the 305. We ride that way. Phins talk. Phins Sammy on the way. Miami, vamos, vamos. It's Phins talk today. Hey, hey, hey. Phins talk today.
And good evening, Fins Up fam. Welcome to Fins Talk today here on FTSN. I'm Bobby Fins Talk, joined always by Fin Sammy. Sammy, my brother, how are you today?
We're doing good, you know. It's been that cold weather that basically went all the way to your state, Tennessee, all the way to the mid south. Basically, it's going backward to right here to San Juan. So it's been raining. It's been very cold. It's kind of weird in Puerto Rico right now because it's still it's a cold and chilly 79 degrees. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it has been a odd couple of weeks with the weather. You know, people losing power, losing trees. I got sick. I felt better. I got back sick. I was sick again, but I am here, and there's plenty to talk about. I mean, first off, you know, of course, we got the Super Bowl around the corner. Getting some good tidbits here and there about, you know, the Dolphins and their plans, especially with Tua, which is a big topic still with Dolphin fans. Because yes, we have a new coach. Yes, we have a new GM, but Tua's not gone yet. He is here still. So the question is, Tua B or not Tua B? That is the $99 million question. And we're going to talk about it today. And we'll get into some other stuff. You know, we had a quarterback coach, and then now we don't. So what's up with that? We'll get into that. And talk about some other stuff, other rumors, the noise around the league. You know, everybody's trying to do a little bit of mock drafts here and there. And, you know, what are we seeing? You know, what are the consensus picks for Miami and what we think about it, and other stuff we got going on with the channel and with our friends around the YouTube verse. Fins TV Awards is Tuesday night. Talk about that. So yeah, a lot to talk about. But let's us begin with first off with Nathaniel Hackett. If I go ahead and get this popping. Hackett can't hack it in Miami, so he takes the OC job in Arizona. Nathaniel Hackett, a lot of people, a lot of Dolphin fans, a lot of sports fans in general, anybody on a different team, you know, they already have a sour taste in their mouth for Nathaniel Hackett because he wasn't a successful head coach and just didn't work. But
just you know, anything
all that. I
was like, yeah.
You know, so there were already a few people who were not very happy with the hire. The silver lining for me, though, was like, hey, you know what? He was a head coach. He's failed as a head coach. He could bring that to Miami where he could kind of say, you know, kind of work with athletes and say, hey, I've been through this. It didn't work. But obviously, you know, he obviously preferred to be the offensive coordinator. So he took the OC job in Arizona. He's not going to be calling plays. LaFleur will call plays there, the new head coach. And so he'll take that job. So Miami now is, again, without a QB coach. Darrell Bevell interviewed for the New York Jets offensive coordinator job. We don't know. Maybe does he turn around and come back to Miami? John Embry, who we all thought would probably be the tight ends coach, he's not going to be retained, reportedly. But before we get into that, Sammy, as I take a sip of this water, what are your thoughts about Hackett not being able to hack it in Miami as the new quarterback coach?
But it's funny because last week, some people were, ruffled up about Hackett being in Miami. We had some fun with it, but I basically told you that I didn't think that this coaching staff we will endure. Probably next year will be a different coaching staff. We would have thought that will be only 1 week, and we're making changes to the coaching staff, right? For the time Hackett of course, it makes sense. The guy, horrible or not, was a head coach. He's been an offensive coordinator before. So the goal is to be a head coach. So the easier path to being a head coach against is being an offensive coordinator. Of course, more money, more power, more everything. But in every profession, you're trying to be the best you can be. So it makes a lot of sense for him to go to the Cardinals. It's not a surprise when I thought about it. And I saw the report that he might join and said this could happen. Wouldn't it be weird, right? Because the first thing is you think it will be weird when he turning around going, but we saw so many times during the offseason that if Mike McDaniel is not the head coach, he will be the offensive coordinator of the Charger and so on with so many others. So it's happened before the season that the expectations were that some people might change jobs. So it happened with us. So a lot of people should be happy because those of you do not want to hack it. Get what you want. Maybe it was in disguise. We were talking about it backstage the other day. Texting each other, but maybe it's in disguise. Who knows? So we have to wait and see. Now the Dolphins had to find and adapt, someone who's better than the quarterback coach that they had, because there's no denying that the quarterback coach that we had experience, had working with some good quarterbacks before. So now that's burning me about our head coach right now. The fact that he's gonna coach the defensive plays. I think the defensive coaching staff is strong, but we're gonna probably talk later about the offensive staff coach and as coaching staff, and that should be the one that should raise eyebrows, should bring concerns, and he should have made sure he would. When you interview for a head coaching job, we talked about so many times before. When you interview for a head coach before, they're gonna ask you who's gonna be the offensive coordinator, who's gonna be your offensive coordinator. And I was kind of surprised that he got the job, or he started making interviews like, he got the job, but he didn't have a concrete problem that he did. But it worries me because I was expecting him to have a good offensive coaching staff as a defensive coach. So I'm kind of worried right now. We'll have to wait and see how he resolved the problem with the vacant offensive quarterback coach in Miami right now.
Yeah, I think coaches in general, they usually have an idea of who they'd like to either bring on or hire for their position coaches, coordinators, etc. With Halfley, what was crazy, so he said what was crazy was, when people are like, okay, let's wait for these interviews to come in, and he was like, I'll have it done by the weekend. And you're like, wait, no names have come out. And then we find out, well, Slowick is staying and he's getting promoted to the OC. And we knew Sean Duggan more than likely was the case. And you saw some guys from the defensive staff in Green Bay hop on over, and some guys from the college ranks coming on in. Nathaniel Hackett, even though we know he's the familiarity with Green Bay and his connections, that was the one was kind of like, okay, interesting. But I do understand. I mean, I have to think that when he accepted a job from Halfley, that he said, hey, look, there's still some positions open in the league where if they offer me this job, I'm going to take it. So it must have come with some sort of understanding. So I have to think Miami, Coach Halfley, has to have a plan in place where, okay, let's go talk to this guy about a QB coach. Everybody's saying, well, who's going to be the guy? We're not hearing any names. We haven't really heard any name from Miami in terms of anybody, just kind of ideas, and until they come out. So we'll wait and see. Let me ask you, because I don't think it does. Do you think this is an indictment at all on Halfley or the new management that a coach comes and then dips to another job right away?
No, basically not. Like I said, you had to take the best coaching opportunity available. To be the offensive coordinator of the Cardinals with someone probably is a good coach. It's a good coaching opportunity for him. So I'm not worried. I'm more worried about what we're going to do now when we have the vacant job in Miami. That's what I'm worried about. But the fact that he left for an opportunity with the Cardinals, that doesn't worry me at all. Not really.
No, not me either. And again, I mean, it happened too where McDaniel took or accepted the OC job in Los Angeles, but still interviewed for other head coaching jobs. It makes sense, and I think it's like a handshake deal until it's finalized. So it is what it is. For those who did not want him here, he's not going to be here. But now we have a vacancy already that you want kind of cleared up while we try to figure out the QB position, which is the job he was supposed to coach. So now we move on to that, which of course is Tua, which you can never get enough talking about Tua.
We cannot escape that.
Can't at all. We get into that. Bobby Slowick talked about Tua and offered some tidbits here and there. And let me see if I could get the quotes here. I had it somewhere else, but they weren't there, so I had to pull something up. But in regards to the QB position, when asked about his playing at quarterback, specifically Tua, Slowick said, "It's way early in the process of player evaluation, but we are looking to add competition at the position. We're going to try to push competition as often as we can at every single spot. What I can say about Tua, just for being with him last year, I know last year was a difficult year for him, without a doubt, for a lot of reasons. And I think what jumped out to me was the grace he handled that with. The way he went about his daily routine through last season, even at the end of the year, the kind of person he was to everybody and to his teammates. I mean, you can't say enough about that, how good of a person he was and how he handled the situation. He couldn't pinpoint, that was quote unquote. He said that he believes Tua could bounce back after a down year, but he could not pinpoint where his struggles started, where they originated. He says it's never as simple as one thing ever. And this is regards of Tua's struggles. It always has a lot of different things that could go into it. I can't pinpoint any specific area. Not really. I just know it was a very difficult year for him. I know that everything he could control and how he went through the year, he did a phenomenal job controlling those things. So there's a few other stuff there. We'll skip that part. But what did you think about his comments in regards, in terms of Tua?
Okay, it's like when you go buy a used car, right? You go to you go buy a used car and you get the salesman and you say it's a great car. It was an old lady who only used it to church, right? It runs great. It's a beautiful car. It had its problems, but he really fixed it. He's probably right, but he's gonna embellish it, the truth a little bit. He's gonna tell you, he's gonna lift it up because if you can resell the car, he gets a better value. So I'm not saying that he probably believes that and probably is telling the truth that that's how it really feels. But we know the Dolphins are trying to move to us. So anything that he says had to be taken on that contest, right? The Dolphins are trying to sell the used car that is to us right now. So I do believe everything that he said makes sense to me. I don't think actually he's lying. But you have to take into the gist that he's trying basically to, live to us as much as possible. Probably, we had to make it attractive. That the plan is, if you want to move on from Tua, we all two have to be. And when you see the Dolphins talking, the Dolphins coaching staff during the last days talking, they were very cohesive. They're all working about physicality, the line, everything. It's like they all got together and they decided what they were going to talk about, right? So, so for him to take the company line about how Tua is great, which I truly believe that he is. I've said it before. I didn't expect him to be a problem when he was benched. I would not expect him to actually be a problem or a huge distraction if he's here next year. He's going to get paid, and he's going to be very happy about that. So, he has to say whatever he can to make it look even better than the situation really is. So, I don't think it's a lie. I don't think no lie detected from me. Of course, there's been a lot of players that has bounced back. Maybe Tua bounced back. Who knows? I'm worried that his problems are physical, so that's why I'm more worried than anything that his problem might be able to come back. It's one like a major league pitcher. When the arm goes, the arm goes. So
yeah,
that worries me. So I'm not saying that he's lying, but I truly believe that he's trying to sell the used car. He's trying to make it as more appealing for anyone who might be attractive for him to move over and basically do what's best for him, trying to lift him off and give him a best opportunity somewhere else.
It's a good point. It's a good point that you bring up in regards of, I don't think he's lying.
Yeah.
And when he talks about the type of person that Tua is, a good person, a good teammate. What he's probably sugarcoating is, I think he could bounce back after a down year. What's a bounce back? Yeah, what's the bounce? How high of a bounce are we talking? And I think you're right. I think Miami's goal, we had a hot debate on the pregame show or postgame show, either one.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a hot debate with our
Postgame
colleague, our brother, Phins about, what's going to happen with Tua. Evan said, straight up, this was mid-season somewhere. Evan was like, I would cut him today. I'd cut him, take the cap hit. We were both like, don't do that. We all agree we move on, but don't take the cap hit because it's going to be crazy, Yeah. But there's other ways, Evan brought up about Denver, and which is right. And so there's a precedent there, but it's still a pretty ding, big ding. I think the more I hear them talk, I think it's obvious what they want to do.
Yes.
And I think what they want to do is trade Tua, not cut him. Now, does it end in him being cut? Maybe. But I think more than likely they're going to cut him. Ian Rappaport, he talked about it. Miami, he said on NFL Network, trading Tua, taking the hit. Miami would have to take some cap back or eat most of the contract. So there's a thing there. It's still a thing, but maybe less. Shout out to Bobby Schaus of the Dive Bar. He's at the Media Row. He talked to Adam Schefter. He asked Schefter straight out, I'm paraphrasing, I don't have the exact quote, but do you expect Tua next year with the Dolphins? No.
No.
Trade cut? He said, we'll see. He's like, thanks, Adam. Appreciate you, bro.
Basically, here's his opinion.
But still. So that's two big guys in the business of knowing the no, who are saying no, Tua's not expected to be back. Majority of everyone keeps saying just move on from Tua, but nobody explains what it actually costs. So we're going to try to do our best here to break it down. And see how we're feeling about possibly moving on, not moving on in regards of we don't want to let go, because I think everybody's ready to move on, even Tua. It's just about, are you willing to pay the cost of him leaving? So let's go ahead, bring that in, and let's talk about it. And first, shout out Greg Sosa in the house. Appreciate you tuning in.
Thank you.
Bearded Fanatic, what is up, my man?
Ooh.
Great to see you. Much love to my two brothers and the flagship show. Love it. Thank you, my man. That is great. Greg Sosa says,
see you Tuesday. Don't forget about that. See you Tuesday on Phins Awards. I'm counting.
Yes. And crap, I got my ring over there. I should have.
That segment is with you guys. It's going to be you guys with the MVP Awards. So, you better be together. So don't leave me hanging.
I got my jackets. I got two jackets. I got the Miami Vice pink, and I got the Dolphin colored aqua. So
I saw that.
I'm ready to go, man. I saw him like,
awesome.
Say less, bro. But
that's right.
Greg says, move on from Tua. He's a distraction. His time in Miami should be over. So there you go. Now, again, the $99 million question. Why is it $99 million question? Well, right here, $99 million would be the cap hit for Miami if they were to cut him before June 1st. I think this is the last of the last moves Miami should do. If they try to trade him and every team is saying, no, thank you, and they're trying to go around like the Miami Heat, can't find a move, can't find a deal before the deadline.
That was sad.
I have my own opinions on that. I'm looking at all these people on Heat Twitter. I'm like, thank God none of you guys are. I understand trading Terry Rozier, but you can't make a move just to make a move.
We have on Phins TV the big finish. I want to know your thoughts before we leave. I want to know your thoughts. So it's not the end of the show. So Bobby and I give you your thoughts on the Heat tonight.
There you go. Do that. Get me in because I have plenty. Like I wanted to throw. I saw a couple people out there. I'm like,
Today's the night for that. So if you want to talk about that, today's the night.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But Scotty, what's up, my man? Hill will be one of our post June 1st designations. There you go, Scotty. Yeah, I think so too. But anyway, this right here, pre June 1st, very unlikely. $99 million cap hit. That's way more expensive to just keeping him. Keep him, sit him on the bench, let him be your backup quarterback. You'll have one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league, and is what it is. But $99 million cap hit.
Record. It would be the all-time record.
It would be the worst, single worst cap hit in franchise history.
In NFL history.
In NFL history. But, and again, this has nothing to do with keeping Tua because, we want to keep Tua here. It's just about you can't do that. That's a killer. Let me read the comments before we go. Let me see. Greg says, going to be a process rebuilding, but Tua must go. No question. No question. That has to happen. It's just how or when, how and when it should happen. Post June 1st, you could spread the cap hit. This is probably, if they can't trade him, this more than likely could be the case. It's still crippling. It's still not good. That's franchise player money in 2026. But it's not a big hit. It's not as big. It's $67 million 1 year. Then it drops to 32.
Mm-hmm.
This seems like the likely scenario where, Miami says, hey, look, Sully says, hey, look, let's just take this hit. We'll spread it out. We'll bite the bullet. Halfley signed 5-year deal. We got the trust of the organization. Let's do this, and then let's build it up. Either pre or post June 1st cut. Post more than likely. This is what I'm going to say. And Sammy, follow up right after this.
Mm-hmm.
No matter the case, Dolphin fans have to be patient. That's what I'm going to say. No one expects a fast turnaround. Could it happen? Sure. It's happened before. Houston, New England. You've seen all these teams that bottom of the barrel and they turn around and make a great thing. It happens, but more than likely, it's not. So when we're mid-season, and let's say for whatever reason, we're 2 and whatever, God forbid, but it is what it is. Fire Halfley, fire something. No, stop it.
No.
Greer dug us a hole. It is what it is. We're going to try to climb out of this. So, but right here, post June 1st, obviously, I'm sure you prefer this compared to pre, but what would you think if post June 1st, we wake up, I get a text message, you get a text message, you look at, we cut to this is the situation, they spread the cap. What's your reaction?
Well, we talked about so many times before, like you said with Evan on the pregame, postgame show about, the possibility of the Dolphins, taking that hit. It will, like I said, it will be the biggest cap hit in NFL history by far. Russell Wilson, I think, was the biggest, and it will be the biggest by far. It's complicated because I have no confidence in Brandon Shore. So if we basically we got a new cap guy, I will say basically they have a plan, but probably Brandon Shore probably still stuck to the plan he had before with the money situation with the Dolphins. So I'm not confident in that. So that kind of gets me worried a little bit. Having said that, I will do anything we could just to sit Tua on the bench, the farthest away from the bench, and keep him this year if I could. I understand that we want a clean slate. We want everything, to start new, but that cap hit, it will take us, I don't know how many years to recover, because you can spread it out to a couple of seasons. You can spread half and half probably, but it's much more than that. We also have Tyreek Hill. We with the increase of the salary cap, I think we're going to be around the same, but almost breaking even, probably a little bit better, but it's still a long way to go. I don't think that if Tua stays, it's going to be an open competition. I said so many people, let Tua stay and open it to an open competition. I do believe that Tua can win the competition. Probably would. that's not the best for this franchise right now. So that complicates things. Uh, as a backup, as an understudy, I think that he proved the last couple of weeks of the season when he was the third quarterback that he acted seriously. He was on the base, working. He was talking to the quarterback. He behaved himself. He wasn't up. He was more involved and more engaged actually with the game, being the third quarterback. If you ask me, that be the quarterback sometimes, because when he was the quarterback, you can see him laughing and talking with the wide receivers and looking distracted and sometimes it's kind of aloof. I think that's the kind of loose guy. He's dope. That's the kind of quarterback to waste. But as a third quarterback, what I saw from him, I really like. I think he was prepared. He looked like a pro. So he probably can do the job. They know by now how Tua feels about this. They probably know about come from his representation if they're gonna stand for this, because you already know that those guys that got the contract probably had a say in it, saying to the team, listen, if you're gonna put in number third, that's gonna be a problem for us. They're gonna represent him. They're gonna tell him, the team, if they're willing to do that or not. So the Dolphins are gonna have a very clear idea of where they stand with Tua right now, and probably they had a lot of conversations with Tua. So the fact that we don't know what's going behind the scenes doesn't mean that they don't know. Doesn't mean that they already know what they have to do and what Tua is willing to work with or we're willing to do for the Dolphins right now. So we can speculate a lot. I will search for certain we're going to speculate a lot here with you here. But I think the Dolphins already know what they have to do. If they can stand with Tua for another year in the bench, or they basically have to wait on June 1st or try to create them or not. They probably, know there's going to be teams interested and how much they will have to give up to trade Tua. Maybe a third. I don't think they're going to trade a second. It's not going to be like that Halib thing that we got a second for trading for Elu, for trading for getting the quarterback for the Broncos. That's not going to happen. Hopefully a third will do, but and a lot of money, a huge chunk of Tua contract will have to go on the trade. So we have to wait and see.
And look, and Scotty, it's a good point, and it's true, right? It is going to be. We know that no matter who is in at quarterback, no matter how expectations are with Miami, whether they're very low or whatever they are, if Tua's on that bench, doesn't matter if he's right next to the quarterbacks or is all the way down there. We know that the cameras are going to point to him.
Oh yeah,
fifth overall pick. What is he thinking? Should he go in if Miami's struggling? We know that's all going to come out. Yes. So I agree. Yes. If they could do it as less painful as possible, they could do it. Again, if they do the post June 1st cut, yes, it does spread the hit. But truthfully, it only spreads the pain. It doesn't erase it. And by pain, I mean the cap. Lou in the house. Of course, co-host of the Soul Flow Sports Show with 305 Sports Babe. Looking forward to seeing them in a couple weeks. So shout out to them. If you guys haven't yet, go subscribe to their channel. Great content. Scotty, at this point, I feel he has to be traded or cut. Can't see him in the building. Even if we could find someone to trade, even like $20 million for 2 years, we pay the rest, it's better than nothing. Fair point. Could happen. Hit that like button, like Tua should hit the door on the way. There you go. Let's talk about.
I knew that was Lou. Without looking, I knew that was Lou.
That's Lou, man.
I'm over here, sharing the stuff. I heard that. I know that was Lou.
Pre-June 1st trade. Now again, there's talk. Greg already put it in the comment. About taking some of the hit, spread. Saying, hey, you guys only pay this. We'll pay the majority. That could happen. I don't know that math, but I do know pre-June 1st trade. It's a $45 million dead cap, $11 million saved. Still a trade. Don't know what we would get back, but not really that helpful in regards to the cap. But at least maybe you get something, only $11 million saved. You get a trade back, or you get $11 million plus maybe something back. Post June 1st trade, you could spread the hit. $13 million in dead cap, $32 million in 27, but $40 million in cap savings. So again, post June is always the best way to go. So my next question would be, who would want to trade for Tua? Not only the injuries, but everyone saw the decline. Doesn't matter if you were Tua non, Tua hater, Tua near, Tua Sammy. Doesn't matter who you were. Everyone saw it last year. So teams obviously did. So not saying there hasn't been rumors around the league. There's some things popping up like, the Cardinals, the Rams, the Jets. All that, those teams have been all kind of linked or thrown out there for Tua. Sammy, let me ask you, first off, who do you think would trade for Tua? And will you prefer a trade compared to a cut post-June or a post-June trade? So let's go with that first.
First of all, the trade. If we could trade him, of course, that's the better scenario for the Dolphins for sure. I don't know which team will bite. It has to be a team that is willing to basically do the same thing that you just said for the Dolphins, and that we called during the season. When the Dolphins bench Tua, we already said that. We said they're gonna go to the cameras all the game. He's gonna be on the bench. The focus is gonna be on him. So yeah, I don't think that's gonna stop anywhere he goes. That's probably gonna continue. If he goes to another team and Tua's the backup, is in the bench. There's going to be a part of the game where they're going to go back to Tua and say, the former fifth pick overall, with the Dolphins, right now over there. If the team is struggling, why don't go to Tua? Who knows? That's going to happen. So has to be a team that is willing to do that. So is willing to, to take that question with that goes with Tua, of course. I know that the teams have been surrounded will make a lot of sense. The Jets will make a lot of sense. I don't think so, but with Bevel going there, that will make a lot of sense. Bevel or French Speed? I'm confused right now. I don't remember which one it was. But one of the two. Of course, the Rams make a lot of sense because Matthew Stafford can retire in a minute, and that's the kind of offense that will make a lot of sense. I don't think Tua is going to go back to backup by Justin Herbert. I don't think that's going to happen. For some reason, and I know Adrian disagreed with me, I always thought that the Saints would. I know they got Tyler Shock and they played pretty well. He started playing well actually in the second half of the game against the Dolphins, and that continued for the next couple of games. So it looked like he turned the corner right after the Dolphins game. But Tyler Shock I think is good. But Kellen Moore was one of the finalists when Mike McDaniel was and Dable were the finalists for the Dolphins job. So that's the kind of coach that probably would take on to as a backup. And quarterbacks and usually not all the quarterbacks that know the first round overall quarterback can take a regression in the second year. That happens to a lot of players in every position. But the quarterbacks that are not taking the first round, usually, they're taking it back in the second year. So to have a Tua on the Saints would make a lot of sense. I don't know what the cap situation was in the Saints because they've been in the dumps in the cap. I don't know since Sean Payton led them and ran away from there, basically scared of the cap situation of the Saints. I don't think they'll be able to recover. So we will have to eat a lot of the contract. But the Saints has always been, for some reason, the team that's always come popping in my head when I think about Tua going somewhere. A dome team in the NFC South, low key weather. That will make a lot of sense for Tua. They can protect the New Orleans.
Yeah, the only reason I'd like the Jets, if they weren't the Jets, I'd say that's the perfect team. Because it is the Jets, it's in the same division. Mm-hmm. I don't see Miami trading within the division. I just don't. Because you got that revenge game factor, and that's going to be another thing, and whatever. And unless you totally think he's not that guy anymore. But if it's a trade, the teams I think that would trade for him would be teams that would, or not to, like you said, if he gets to any other team, they're going to be looking at him going, if he's on the bench, hey, bring him in when the other guy struggles. I don't know if New Orleans would do that to Tyler Shuck because I think they want to kind of ride in with him, but you never know. Mm-hmm. I think if a team trades for him, it's to say, okay, he's going to be our starter. He's our guy for now, which I think Tua would prefer, especially at that number. With Miami, he'd be the backup, right? He'd have to compete for the job. They say competition, is that Tua and Quinn Ewers? Is that Quinn Ewers and a rookie? Is it Quinn Ewers and another guy? Maybe. But for Tua, if he gets traded anywhere, if a team's going to make a trade for any sort of amount of money, I think it's for a guy who could be their short-term starter. And I think Tua would probably prefer that over going to the Rams to be the backup to Matt Stafford or, something like that, which he doesn't really have a choice in regards to where he goes. I just think maybe a team would probably say, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and give up a 4th round pick, and take the $20 million or whatever. And let's go ahead and, we'll sign Tua. Let's go ahead and build around, and then we'll get our rookie quarterback 2 years from now or a year from now. It's just great to see. I mean, Arizona, I don't know because Kyler Murray, it's like kind of the same situation. I know people are like, oh, straight up trade. I'm not interested. No hate on Kyler. I'm not interested in a straight up trade for Kyler and Tua. But the Jets make a lot of sense. The only reason why they don't is because they are the Jets. The Rams would make a lot of sense if McVay, conveys to Tua, hey, if Matt Stafford's going to stay, it's probably going to be for one more year. Why don't you be his backup and then take over once he's done? And that could probably work. So it's a very interesting thing. I will say, preference-wise, probably either post-June. Well, thank you. As my son would go. My son goes like this. He goes something like this. And I don't know. I can't do it, but he does all the time. He looks at me and goes, Dad, I'm gonna tell those girls, why don't you take me out to dinner? I'm like, what? What? Like, what are you talking about? Adrian of the Rainy Day Podcast. Shout out to Adrian, my man. Appreciate you watching, brother. Lewis in the house as well. Great to see you. Miami Sports 72. We give him a signing bonus and then we trade him. Yeah.
And you were saying,
I know.
You were saying about the Rams. The Rams did already with Baker Mayfield. They're willing to take that chance. Of course, the money wasn't the same, but they tried to do that with Baker Mayfield. They brought him in. It worked for them. It worked for Baker Mayfield too. So
it did, and so they may say, "Hey, look, just be the backup. You're in this offense. You're kind of protected. And if Matt goes down in injury, you're automatically in." And you're right. They could say, "Hey, look what it did for Baker. He got a starting job. He took a year to take a back seat. Now he's a starter, and look how good he is what it is." Daniel, I think it's a pipe dream. We will at least to it. I'm more worried about how we creatively sign Willis. That is a great point because I've seen that pop around. And so first off, shout out to Daniel. Appreciate you jumping in here. Appreciate you watching as always, my man. Everyone watching right now, you're watching Phins Talk today here on FTSN, powered by FTSN and Phins TV, sponsored by Caneswear. So Malik Willis, that is going to be, first off, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to sign Malik Willis because Green Bay South or Packers South, or we're not ready to compete. Why would we spend any amount of money on Malik Willis? I get it. I'm not worried about Green Bay South. Malik Willis wasn't drafted by the Packers. He was revived by the Packers. So if they think, hey, you know what? This is a young guy. He's still very young. He showed promise. We had a front row seat. We think he could be that guy. Maybe we don't need to draft a quarterback this year. Let's see what we got with him. And we go, Quinn Ewers, Malik Willis compete. And let's see if Malik Willis gets the job. You write it out. If he's not the guy, he's not the guy. My issue would be the money. I'm not against Willis. I liked Willis coming out of the draft. Great kid, great character, class, act, and he's a competitor. I'm not against it. They could do it. My thing would be, are you willing to commit any type of money to that quarterback right now when your team's not ready yet? Is Willis now a quarterback could turn your team around no matter where you're at, right? There's no expectations about this team turning around. Like, again, nobody should expect the Dolphins to be any sort of team competitive for the next season and a half, probably. But yes, a quarterback could turn a team around and also, oh my God, we're competitors. But is Willis that guy? Not saying he's bad. I'm not saying that at all. Would love to see the guy. Love to see it. Like him a lot. But that's the thing. Are you willing to spend money on a guy who's not going to be the guy? Sammy, go for it.
Absolutely. That's $1 million question. The $40 million question probably Malik Willis. So the problem is that, the blueprint lately has been you have to fix the economics, right? That's what the Patriots did, kind of what Seattle did, and when you had that settled, you had to take the young quarterback. With the Patriots got lucky over here with their main, they got very lucky, or you basically go find the quarterback like the Seahawks did with Sam Darnold. So the problem is that you are so limited on the cap right now with the Dolphins that if you get the quarterback and you basically don't have enough tools to put the quarterback in the position to succeed, you're basically doing a disservice. He's gonna come here. You're gonna have Waddle and probably a rookie wide receiver at the passport offensive line, and you might have to call Austin Jackson and basically use a rookie. Who knows? They know better than we do, right? But the problem is that that it's not like you're gonna bring Malik Willis and you're gonna open up the checkbook and bring another wide receiver and another tight end and beef off defensive line. That's not the problem here. If you're gonna do that, stick with Queen Ewers, okay? Stick with Queen Ewers for one more year. Get the draft fix. Try to develop what we already have. Try to fix it's gonna probably take a couple of years to fix the Tua head. So the idea of getting a rookie quarterback, for example, is that you take advantage during that 5-year window if it's high traffic of a low income quarterback, and you can spend a lot on the other positions, right? That was the blueprint that failed with Tua, but I do believe there's a right blueprint. If you get stuck with spending money on the quarterback first, when you really have a problem with the cap, what are you gonna do? You're gonna basically it's like going to Disney World and put in the credit card where you really have a second mortgage on the house. So it's complicated. I would love Malik Willis. He's intriguing. He's exciting. That's the kind of player we love to have in Miami just because he will be very fun. But I'm not sure that right now this team can afford to do that. When, like I said, we had a second mortgage in the house, and it's not gonna take. We're gonna invest in the credit card. So it's complicated. I know we get hyped so many times on the flashy things, and the Dolphins every time a huge free agent comes, you can see the meme Dolphin. That's the way we are.
Same thing with the Miami Heat. Every time a superstar is available,
yeah,
Heat, and you disappoint yourselves.
He got that from the Dolphins fans.
That's right. I know. It's like
after the LeBron thing. So, Dolphins fans love shiny objects. We love the shiny object, and we've been very, 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 very lucky when we got Tyreek, of course, and that was very, very fun. Yeah. But that the cap situation is horrible. We get him here, and what are we gonna do with him? We're gonna put him with a bunch of rookies who still know he's gonna work. Give me Queen Edwards. Let's see one more year what he got. Let's draft a quarterback in the second round, third round. Sullivan already said that he might draft a quarterback any other year. So why not? Oh, man. But they're gonna stay to the end of the show. We're gonna talk some heat at the end of the show because I want to know what Bobby thinks about this. So you better stay to the end of the show because I want to know his thoughts. But the situation is just bad. It's just bad. Let's stay with. I would stay with Queen Ewers. I would draft a quarterback, and if there's a veteran that's willing to come to Miami, sure, for the right money. But but the right amount of money, yeah. And again, at the end of the day, and that's one of my favorite phrases. At the end of the day, no one knows the worth of Malik Willis right now more than the guys I have here right now.
Great point. Yep. 100%.
So it's the same thing that Joe Phillips sucked. I agree, great guy, but he sucked. Great human being, but he sucked. But he know Matt Flynn did not work. He knew that. He wasn't willing to bring Matt Flynn here. It's the same situation. If probably Malik Willis is a good quarterback, probably is the hours going up, but also he likes to run a lot. He's gonna get he's 5'10", 5'11", maybe 6 feet. I don't know, but it's the same situation. He likes to run a lot. And he got hurt. He got a great game for the Packers that late in the season, but he got hurt. Those kind of quarterbacks again going with a small quarterback, that's going to put it in the same position. Another small quarterback that gets hurt a lot. So a lot of things pointing for me to pass on him. Even though I like him and he's exciting, I would love for him to be a Dolphin. And if he comes here, of course I'm gonna be excited because he's the kind of player that gets you excited about but the situation, if you ask me, cold head and thinking, seriously without with the fandom in me, I will pass.
So let me make sure here, because I get through these comments very quick. Some of the draft comments, at least. Miami Sports says, "What if you don't know if we what if you don't know if we get a quarterback like Ty Simpson?" Okay.
I see some of their positioning because not at 11.
No, so that's what I'll say. I can see them using one of our 3 third rounders on a quarterback like Nussmeier. And then somebody said Trinidad. Forgive me if Miami Sports says give me Trinidad. So, all right. Regarding that. So look, I'm in that stratosphere too. Okay. I'm not going to lose sleep if we don't sign Malik Willis. Again, don't hate on Malik Willis at all. Very talented kid. I think Sammy hit the nail on the head. Nobody's had a better seat to see the guy in the, not only in the field, but in the locker room, how he interacts with coaches, what he does in film. Nobody knows Malik Willis better than the guys that are in our front office right now. If they think he's the guy or that he's good enough to be the guy, then go with the process. But my preference would be you roll with Quinn Ewers. He's already on your roster. He's already there. Go draft the guy this year. 3rd round. That's the perfect number there. 3rd round pick. You got Nussmeier sitting there. Drew Alar is probably going to be there. Those are guys. Trinidad, we don't know yet. Trinidad, he just, he got denied, and then he's doing something else now. So we don't know if he's going to be available. If Trinidad's available, that's a different conversation. That would be very intriguing. Very intriguing because he fits the mold of what Sully and Green Bay the past years kind of look at. So that's intriguing. But here's the thing. If you go Quinn Ewers as the guy already on your roster, you get rid of Tua, however which way you do it. You draft the guy in the 3rd round, whether that's Nussmeier, whether that's Drew Alar. Then you let those 2 guys compete. If, let's say, one of those guys, let's say the rookie guy, whoever that may be, shows up and shows out, you're good. You got the golden goose. You let him, then he's your guy in the future. If he does it, he's only a 3rd round pick. So guess what? You turn around the following year and then you trade up and you go get one of your top picks to go get a quarterback. That's the best case scenario. That is what I would do. Drew Alar all the way. Statman. Drew Alar, it's all the measurables of what you want in today's type of quarterback. The problem is the tape from last year. If you watched a year before, it's like, no wonder that guy was a 1st round grade type of guy. You watched this past year, there's a lot of, what is that? What happened? But again, that goes for all of Penn State. The thing is, if Drew Alar is there in the 3rd, or Scotty says the 4th, the 5th, if he's sitting there in any of those rounds and you grab him, that is great value. You don't get him in the 1st. You don't do that. If you get him in the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th, you've hit. That's great. You got a potential, to make a hit there because that's great value. You're not risking anything. Ty Simpson. This is where I stand on Ty Simpson. Safe quarterback. Safe pick. I don't care about Alabama. As Phins would say, nobody from Alabama. He's done with Alabama. I don't care about Alabama. He's a safe pick. Not at 11. That's terrible value. You don't get him at 11. In the 2nd round, maybe, but not the 1st. Unless it's Mendoza, nobody else after that. At that point, for me, right now, at least. Let's see. I was a huge fan of Alar going into the season. He was one of my top rating going in, and he fell apart this season. He gets injured. Yes, it's true. But there are guys. Again, if you get him in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, Scotty, again, that's great. So it's Ewers and a new young kid in the 3rd round. See what you get. Draft trenches in 2026. Bill, yep. Get a quarterback in 27. Absolutely. Best player available at 11. And that's the thing, too. If you look at different mock drafts around the league, around the league, the Twitterverse, and, online, whatever, different media outlets, it's all over the place for Miami. You have Ty Simpson there. You have Caleb Downs. You've got one of the tackles, whether that's Malagoa, the one from Miami, or Spencer Fanu. It's all over the place. I will say, I agree. BPA at 11. Whomever that may be. Don't reach for a guy. You don't have to. Get the best. If it's Caleb Downs, go get Caleb Downs. If you miss on Caleb Downs, you know what? Dylan Thieneman from Oregon, I'm down with him. Go get him. McCoy or I'm forgetting his last name now, but the kid from LSU, the corner, that's a good hit too. Look at the Jets fan coming in here. Look at the Jets fan. Russ. Everybody point at the Jets fan and laugh. No, I'm just Russ Morgan, host of the On Deck Baseball Podcast. Appreciate you.
I actually believe the Jets should take it out too. They should take that.
I agree. The Jets should take him with the second pick.
Absolutely.
Ty Simpson. Take him.
What about the future?
Yeah. McCoy, I've seen a lot of mocks. He's another one who got hurt. Last year. I know people go, oh, I don't want another hurt guy. There's difference between hurt last year and an injury prone. And I will say, I saw somebody say this on Twitter. I don't want we got to stop drinking players who get injured. Let me just say this. This is football.
Get injured.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to get hurt eventually, brother.
Yeah.
It's the injury prone guys. It's like, but again, we don't have Chris Greer anymore. That's the difference. Daniel says, I'm not drafting a QB till day 3. Too many holes on this team. I want contributors with the first 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. There you go. 100%. I think that's good. That's good. Depends though where the value's at. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I don't think until the combine we don't know where the strengths of this draft are. Usually by the combine we don't know. This is a offensive line heavy draft or a cornerback heavy draft. We have to wait and see a little bit more. What's going to be the plan of here, because of course the Dolphins need help everywhere. They need the defensive line, they need the linebackers, safety, corner, quarterback, wide receiver. Probably one of the worst spots in the whole roster this past season. So they need help everywhere. So at 11, take the best player available, and we fill the holes during the second round, the third round of that. I think we have 3 third-round picks, right? If we don't trade one with Tua, along with Tua, we're gonna still have 3. So we have to wait and see.
100%. Again, to me, it's management. I know what I'm gonna want, but I'm gonna trust the process. I know these guys. They said it. It's gonna be competition. They're gonna want to get a player who could compete, possibly start to compete against Quinn Ewers. So I don't think they're gonna sleep on the QB position. I think they're gonna address it. But I think it more than likely will be the case where it's like 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, and go from there. Make sure I'm not missing this. A New York Jet. McCoy is this year's Will Johnson, out of Michigan, who was injured, who fell, and could be a big hit for someone later on. Again, I'm not sleeping on McCoy at 11, or the kid or the kid out of LSU at corner, or wide receiver. But again, there's a lot of what's good about this draft for me. There's a lot of players, especially at corner, receiver, that if you miss, you could hit on another player, or go after another player later on. Somebody asked you a question. Is that what you're saying? Who is the best QB for the Dolphins in the last 20 years? Chad Pennington. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're trying to say?
Tua is the best quarterback in that 20 years. Come on, stop.
Listen, Mark Sanchez, butt fumble guy. Listen, no one. I know that really pisses him off if you say that. So
Ray Lucas is the best quarterback for the Jets the last 20 years. How about that? Yeah, Ray Lucas.
Ray Lucas. Wow. You remember Ray Lucas? Tannehill.
Yeah. If that knee never got injured that season, that could have been the year that I had basically
Right? We're on our way. The Arizona game. I'm telling you, bro. I'm with Greg on that one. But that's just me. Or no, not just me, Greg too. Scotty, we need a penetrating DT. Yes, we do. And there's a few. But that's good. Yeah, Brazil out of Tennessee. Yep. Claire at tight end. I like them. Kid out of LSU for a wide receiver is another one I like. Oh man, my brain is fried. I was talking to Steve Malloy earlier and I forgot something too. Damn. Anyway, there's plenty to talk about. We'll talk about it here throughout the offseason as well. The draft as we get closer to it. Obviously on Monday nights with the Phins Talk Draft Show on the clock with Josh Wingate and Coach Vogel, myself, talking about that. So make sure you guys are tuning in. I know Scotty and Daniel will do so for that, but anybody who doesn't, come join us. You guys, for those who are watching, wherever you're watching from, we appreciate you. Whether you're watching on X, on my X or FTSN, or Phins TV, if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, we appreciate you all watching. Wherever you are, Adrian, wherever you are, hop on over to YouTube, and like and subscribe. Watching Phins Talk on FTSN, sponsored by Caneswear. You gotta fill them holes, Daniel. Adrian, dirty man. All right.
It's all about filling the holes, Adrian.
I'm saying he knew what he was doing. He knew I was going to. All right, so let's get a few of our some of our homework out of the way a little bit. How do you say that? Some chores, if you want to call that. But something that's really cool that's coming up this month. I will be traveling to Miami for the DCC, the Dolphins Cancer Challenge.
Awesome.
This will be this will be my second year walking down there, my third year all because I had to do it last year here. But I will be traveling down to Miami with the fam February 28th for the Dolphins Cancer Challenge. It's going to be amazing. On this amazing team, captained by our buddy, the big brother of the Dolphins Nation, Big E, Ian Berger, and of course, the incomparable Ashley, 305 Sports Babe. Going to be hanging out with Lou. Very excited to see Lou and the group down there. This is just an amazing event. Let me just say, an amazing event on Saturday, but for an amazing cause, right? Everyone, especially now, cancer has touched them in some way. Their family, personally, now we know as Dolphin fans, our brother Big E, he's dealing with it. Praying every day. I pray for him. I pray for him most especially that he lives his best life. That he continues, be smiling, for his daughters, for his wife. I mean, the dude is an inspiration. I would say, God forbid we ever deal with something like that. But if we do, I hope that I'm as strong, Big E strong, like him. How he handled it with so much grace. So this is personal, and it should be personal. The Dolphins Cancer Challenge, what they do is amazing. What these people do is amazing. Raising money. All of it goes to cancer. It's not like, donate $100 and then we get 50 and we'll get 50 to no, it all goes to cancer research. It goes to the fight against cancer. Okay. So, my grandfather died of cancer. Of course, grandparents I know, but I had friends. Good friend of mine, Doug Fouts, Lisa Langan, who I used to work with, great people. I love them to death. They passed from cancer. So cancer has impacted me greatly. But now as a whole, we've all had that. So what I'm going to ask you guys is this. First off, you could still register, I think. Pretty sure. So even if you can't donate, sign up wherever you are. If you're in another state, you don't have to fly to Miami. You could do it from where you are. Okay? Go with the Worldwide Dolphin Fans. Hopefully I said that right. I don't have it from it. Worldwide Dolphin Fans, which is Ashley and Lou and me and Big E and a huge group, some awesome people. Sign up with our group. Sign up with any group. I don't care. It's because what matters is doing this fight. Okay? But if you're willing to do it, you could scan that barcode. First off, you can see it with Lisa, who's a champion of this. I mean, she's like another one of those MVP Hall of Famers, if it comes to fans. She's right there. I don't care if it's her page, Lou, Ashley, mine, but mine's is right there. Just say it. But if you want to scan that barcode, I don't get anything from it. I really don't. Don't matter. If it's $5, $1, $10, $20, whatever, scan that barcode and donate. Every dollar goes to the DCC, goes to cancer research, and they need it more than ever. I don't know the exact news or whatever, but supposedly they found the cure for prostate or something. I think something like that. Something news just came out, which is kind of amazing. And I hope that is the case. But if you guys want any little part of it, we're not scientists. We're not doctors. Those are the champs, right? We can't find the cure, but we can help sponsor that cure. We can help be a part of that in that way. So do me a favor. Scan this barcode and donate. Anything. If someone donates, the first one to donate, I'll find one of my Dolphin autos. I have Clayton. I think that's all I'll do. If someone donates, let's say I say any amount's great. Anything's fine. But if you donate over $10, do a little more, but hit $10. I don't care. Let me know. We'll connect. I will send you a Mark Clayton auto. I don't care. I will do it. That's how much it matters. Even though it's just $10. But $10 goes way over. That's something. If it's multiple people, then we'll do a random drawing. I'll tell Sammy, hey, figure this out. Because I that way it's out of my hands. But Sammy's muted. But
hey, I'm saying that you don't have to put your hands in it. Yeah, you give me the names, I'll spin the roulette, and you get it.
That's right. That's right. I will do it. That's how much this means to me. Okay? So do that. Please. And if you can't donate, which is okay. Life is life. Life happens. We all got it. We all deal with it. Promote, retweet, throw it out there, sign up, walk. It's great. And I hope that I know I'm going to see Lou, I'm going to see Ashley. Can't wait. Adrian, I hope to see him when I'm down there. George on the Phins Faithful Pod, we'll reach out to him. Adrian, if you're not walking, send you a Ticketmaster thing so you could do the family and friends pass so you could come hang out with us, come see us, come support. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know if you're interested in that, but text me, let me know. But yeah, man. So please, I'm sorry I took up this time, but just want to throw that out there. It's getting close and it's very exciting, man. It's a huge thing. And I'm really grateful to be a part of it. So, but yeah.
Great words, Bobby. Great words. And it's like you said. I don't want to ruin you what you said because you were you were so wonderful, well spoken. But right now everybody knows someone with cancer. When Biggie when the Biggie news hit, he's like I say, he's our Phins ambassador. Everybody loves Biggie. So now you cannot be a Dolphins fan and you cannot say you don't know anyone who has cancer or battling with cancer right now because we all have Biggie. So the fact that like you said, you are so involved, you should be very proud of it. I see Lisa so proud of it. She doing it for her mother. So many, Lou and Ashley and so many others. Biggie, of course, has always been involved even before it hit him. So it's a great cause. It's a great movement. So anything you can do to help, I'm sure you guys will appreciate it.
100%. Make sure here. So this week, what's remaining here on FTSN? We're gonna have some extra talk, but I'll get through this part here. So what's next on FTSN for this week? Tomorrow I will be live with Alex for East 10th Street Boys. We are Gonna get back into it. We were on, we were off, we're on. Life happens. He's got family stuff. I'm sick, cold weather, but we'll be live. We're gonna talk Miami Heat. We're gonna talk Dolphins. We're gonna talk life. So join us, sit back, let's have a blast. Some good time. East Central Boys tomorrow, Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Saturday, No Holds Barred Wrestling. The plan is we're right now we are watching. I'm on episode 2. Unreal, which is on Netflix, and we're going to talk and react to Unreal. That's on Saturday. Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, the Phins Talk Draft Show with Josh Wingate, Coach Vogel. A lot of people brought up the secondary. We're going to talk about the secondary. We're going to highlight, and we'll have a draft expert on with us who was at the Senior Bowl. He'll be on with us to talk about the draft, talk about the Dolphins, talk about what he saw at the Senior Bowl. So make sure you tune into that. If you're new to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss it. Tuesday night, of course, we got Real Talk Phins Talk. Tomorrow on FTSN Extra, we have Aging and Strong with Steve Malloy. What should you do, or how should you work out, if you can work out, if you tweak your back?
Oh, that's awesome.
That is I'll tell you how many of us, look, I got a torn rotator cuff. I tried to do it the other day. I was like, you know what? Because I was too afraid to. And I said, let me try to do a push-up, because that's something I was doing like for a while. And I got nervous with it. I tried to do it the other day, and it hurt. So there are things where like, man, if I do something, how can I keep doing it? So tweaking your back, it's pretty important, so make sure you tune in that. And he has a great guest that he's trying to line up too for next week. So FTSN Extra, make sure you subscribe to that channel for that content. Field Talk, Phins Talk on Tuesday night. But another big show on Tuesday night on Phins TV, the Phins TV Awards, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Sammy, talk to us.
It's the 3rd annual Phins TV Awards. Of course, this year was wasn't what expected. Or we expected, but it wasn't just good. But we're still gonna celebrate the Dolphins season. We're gonna celebrate who was the offensive player of the year, the defensive player of the year, of course, the MVP of Phins TV, of the Dolphins Phins TV Awards. Of course, the nominees, everybody, of course, Devon A. Chain, Jordan Brooks, and so many others who will be featured, who had a great season, because, of course, no one can deny that even the Dolphins were not successful. Jordan Brooks and Devon A. Chain had great seasons. So, an all-star cast, you're going to be there. Peter's going to be there. Lou and Ashley, Joe Salvaran, and Jason Sarney, of course, Adrian Rainey, and the Phins TV crew. So, it should be fun. Yes, Crockett style where Miami Crockett where is preferred, even suggested, Lou. So if you want to rock your tuxedo with your t-shirt, we encourage you to that. So we'll be doing. Steve sent me today the photo he was gonna be wearing on Tuesday, so it should be fun. So an all-star panel of course of people who are gonna present the awards with you, of course. Beer Fan is gonna be there. The panel included this year included Tobin, we all know Tobin, Armando Salguero, Dave Hyde, OJ McDuffie, and among others. Of course, you were there in the panel, and so many others. Lou and Ashley are there. So with the votes have been tallied. I finally counted the votes today, and I can tell you, it should be one surprise, but not the kind of surprise you expect. But it should be interesting. The Phins TV Awards, the 3rd annual Phins TV Awards, this Tuesday at 8 p.m.
There you go. Looking forward to it. And then, just talk quickly too about the partner to the channel, sponsor to FTSN Phins Talk today. Also, the Canes Wear podcast. They host the Canes Wear podcast here on FTSN, which we're always, I'm always grateful for. Brett and the crew. If you guys don't, Canes Wear podcast with Brett and Gio and Mondo, those guys kill it, man. But let me tell you where they kill it. Extra. Is Canes Wear Miami Fan Wear at in Davie, Florida, 2655 South University Drive. Listen, Hurricane fans, Dolphins, Heat, Marlins, anything Miami. You love sports. You want some good, great gear. Go check out Canes Wear. If you're anywhere other than Miami, you could go to caneswear.com. First of all, they've always got great deals. They've got great, if you like, discounts, they got the clearance, but they also just got great merch. That picture I took when I got the ring, the Phins TV Pick'em League ring. Everybody's asked me about my jacket, which is my favorite. Everybody talks about the logos. We could have debates all day. We have that logo. I love that logo, the original OG logo. It's in our logo. Okay. I love all the logos. I don't give. I'm a fan, brother. I don't hate on anything from our team, but my preference is the 2000s logo, the cartoon dolphin. I don't give a damn what you think. I love that damn logo. So my wife got me a beautiful jacket. And everybody talks crap about that. It's
an awesome jacket, yes.
I love it. And everybody talked crap about that logo. Yet when they saw that coat, they're like, yo, where did you get that coat? I want that jacket. Caneswear. I got it at Caneswear, brother. They got Dolphins. They've got Hurricanes. They've got it all. So make sure if you're in South Florida, if you're traveling to the DCC, Dolphins Cancer Challenge, or you go to a game or anything of that nature, you're in the South Florida area, go stop at Caneswear at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. But if you're not, if you're in Puerto Rico, I'm pretty sure, if you're in Texas, if you're in Canada,
I've ordered Caneswear, yes.
Oh, good. There you go.
Yes, I have.
If you're anywhere other than Florida, it doesn't matter. Go to Caneswear.com. We're in Tennessee. She ordered this stuff from Caneswear. And it's fast shipping. They're pretty damn quick.
Yes.
And they're awesome people. Legitimately awesome people. That's the most important thing. They got an awesome crew there. So check them out. Sammy, you said, man, you've ordered from them. You actually told me last week about that experience with them.
I every time I go to Miami, I had to go to Caneswear. They expanded. They used to be a smaller, store in the same location. They moved a couple of stores down, and it's a bigger location. A lot of more stuff. So you have not being in Caneswear like for the last couple of years. You should go do the trip to Caneswear. If you go to Miami to the Cancer Challenge during the season, you had not been to Caneswear in a while. You should go there because the new facility is great. And I ordered Caneswear. Hats. We ordered Caneswear jackets and stuff. I love Caneswear. A lot of things you're not gonna find anywhere, or you don't have the chance to basically touch it, see it, because sometimes you buy online, and it's great to buy online. But if you are one of those people who actually like to go see what you're gonna buy and touch it and feel it, Caneswear is the place to be because they have everything Caneswear. So I love Caneswear.
100%. Man, oh man. So we're about an hour and 12 minutes in, and you still got Lou. I think Adrian is still in here, so we could talk about it. I think we could touch on it, even though I know I'm going to talk more about it tomorrow. So if you got some anger left for me tomorrow, you can. But Sammy, you said you wanted to talk about it, so I'll let you start.
Please.
With it.
I want to know your thoughts about this.
And this is about the trade deadline thing with the Miami Heat. Lou, no, I'm going to, brother. No, look.
The rant.
My bad, was doing dishes. It's all good. I'm gonna be look. Did I want Giannis? 100%. Who wouldn't? Earmuffs, right? We all, Giannis, absolutely. Here's my thing. I guess the bigger issue would be for me is they didn't do anything. And that was more Terry Rozier. You had the contract. Yes. Try to move it. I said this on East Century Boys a little while back, a couple episodes probably, where I was like, and I got a little fight, but I was like, yes, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 100%, right? Former MVP, one of the best. But I didn't want to give up the farm. Like, I'm talking like Killer Ware. Like Tyler Hero, yes. I understand one of the young players, yes. But Khalil Ware, Jaquez, Jovic, all for Antetokounmpo. Okay, and then you trade Andrew Wiggins possibly. What's left? You basically do what the Clippers did. How many championships did they win? 0. Look at Houston, what they've done before. How many championships with Harden and Paul and Howard? 0. Brooklyn Nets. How many championships after destroying their young core? How many championships did they win? 0. So no, I wasn't about that. If you did it for like the kind of thing they were talking about, like I hate to do it, but like Khalil Ware, who I love and I'm happy he's staying with the team. But Spo needs to. I love Spo, but get over it, and play him. If you're not going to play him, trade him. But if you would have done it for Ware, Hero, and maybe Rozier's deal, and maybe a couple, and obviously do the picks, great. Because then you still have some of the young core pieces. Oh, they turn around and you get like a Trae Young type deal for Ja. All right. But don't blow up your team for two guys, because guess what? Antetokounmpo tears an Achilles, breaks a toe, something, he's gone for half the year, and then your team's nothing anyway. I believe in the young core Miami Heat have right now. The Terry Rozier deal is different. But I don't believe in this. I don't believe to make a move just to make a move. Oh, but they didn't do anything. They tried to make the trade for Giannis. They were throwing everything but Bam. The Bucks were playing games. The Bucks said, I'm not interested. We're not going to do it. We're going to wait. Then Giannis puts that stupid tweet out saying, I'm not leaving. Well, what do you want? What does Giannis want? Yeah, so it's like, forget that. The hell with him then. Who knows what's going to happen with him? If maybe the offseason it works again, who knows? Till then, I ain't worried about it. The Terry Rozier, maybe Wiggins, if you would have thrown it together, that would have been different. But to make a move just to make a move, like, what are we doing? Status quo, worse than the Dolphins. How many championships have the Dolphins won since 2006? How many?
See, if you allow me, Bobby, since you're bringing it back to the Dolphins, Pat Riley right now is the same position Don Shula was. The same last year. It's the same thing. The problem is that Don Shula was not. If you remember that cover from the side that Pat Riley was hot and Don Shula was not. Right now is Pat Riley the one who's not. So and what happened after Shula left? The pastures are always greener on the other side. So you have to be careful.
That's
so,
right.
It's easy to criticize, but it's not like it's. Of course, when we're fans, we want the team to do the deal we want. But, how many times the other team is willing to do? And, the truth is that, Pat Riley has basically robbed so many other teams that I don't think a lot of teams want to do a lot of business with the Heat right now.
That's true, too.
And those things kind of happen. So the other route, which one is the other route? Basically, the route is Bobby is talking about, draft well, develop well, believe in your core, and, try to do the best thing. If you're close, you do the trade, but not to do the trade if you're not close. So I think that's where Bobby's.
You look at what OKC has done. What OKC did, they make a couple trades here and there, but they didn't blow up their young core. They stackpiled draft picks, and then they made the trade for Shea, and then they look where they are now. There are teams that try to take these shortcuts. Let me get this superstar. Let me get this superstar. They've done it. Brooklyn, all these guys. What did they do? Nothing. It did nothing. It depleted they ended up trading them a couple seasons later, and then they're in the hole and they're nothing. I like the young parts we have. You build on those. Yes, I agree. There's other young parts that you could, again, you have Rozier's deal. You could have paired it with Andrew Wiggins or paired it with Tyler Hero. Go get a couple other pieces. You're not going to get a superstar with that, but you get some. I agree. They could have done something, but I don't believe in just making a deal to make a deal. If the deal is not there, don't do it. But to say they're the same boat as the Dolphins, that's wrong. Again, how many championships has the Heat won? I mean, the Dolphins won since 2006. 0. How many have the Heat? The Heat were just in the finals a couple seasons back. Or not a couple, but a few seasons back. I believe in this team. Are they stagnant? Yeah, right? We know that. But to make a deal just to make a deal, just so a couple fans in the fan base are happy, do we really want another Terry Rozier? How did that work out? It didn't work out really good. Now we're stuck with a deal. With a contract we didn't want. But everybody loved that trade when it got done because a deal was a deal. Everybody wanted Terry Rozier. And now they traded for Terry Rozier. He's horrible. You all wanted it. Yeah. Because a deal's a deal. Let's just make a deal. Sometimes, you know what? The best deal is making no deal. And I'm not saying it's going to work out. I'm just saying it wasn't there. So let's not make it to make it. I agree. They should have found a way to get rid of the Terry deal. That's the only thing. But they didn't. So
I remember when Charles Barkley was traded to the Phoenix Suns, and basically what the Suns did, you have Danny Ainge and Jeff Hornacek, and they set him out because they had Kevin Johnson and Darren Marley, in the wing. So, when you had a lot of young talent, you know which one you're gonna trade and which one you want to keep. but you know that. You know what's going to be your core. So if Pat Riley doesn't think that, he's trying to fleece everyone he can. He's trying to do the best thing for them. He's not going to basically sell the farm and tell them, I'm going to keep the scraps. And, I have Giannis and what. Having said that, that's what worked for Pat Riley so many times. When he traded for Shaq, when he traded for LeBron, he knows how to make the deal. So I'm pretty sure that if he's going to be, I understand why Heat fans are mad just because of the fact that you beat expectations and the trade don't happen and, you get frustrated. But, sometimes, what happened to the guy from the Blazers? Every single Heat fan wanted, and now he tore his Achilles and basically he's not going to play. So, it is what it is. Sometimes you have to wait and see.
Yeah. And the Dolphins are not a team that really runs it back. I mean, how many splashes have they made and how many chips have they won with those splashes? Taron Armstead, Tyreek Hill, Sue. I mean, my goodness, if they were like the Dolphins, they would do all those big things. But look what it's done for Miami. No, it's not status quo. Not like the Dolphins. With respect, sir. Wish you were here to debate you. Maybe tomorrow, brother. Maybe. We'll find a time. But anyway, that's a preview for tomorrow night. Tune in. We'll see what Alex thinks. I think he agrees. But anyway. So don't forget tomorrow, East 10th Street Boys. Saturday, No Holds Barred. And Monday night, Phins Talk Draft Show. And then Tuesday, Phins TV Awards. Big week here with FTSN and Phins TV. Sammy, any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
We'll have to wait and see what happens to the Dolphins this week. We'll have to see what they're going to do with the quarterback coach. It should be interesting. Of course, the Tua question is going to linger probably all the way after the draft. So, a lot of things are going to happen. So, a lot of draft talk, but I'm not huge on the draft talk just because of the fact that until we know who's staying, who's going, we don't know what we're going to do. But, everything is interesting. We'll have to probably do some mock drafts every now and then. Play the draft mock draft simulator. Everybody loves that. So we're going to have time to do that before the draft. For now, it's interesting. And, we have to keep talking about what the offense are going to do every single week. Something comes up. So there's probably something going to come out next week to talk here on Phins Talk Today.
There you go. All right, guys. We appreciate you all tuning in. Lou, I appreciate you. Adrian, you know it. Everyone who joined us too. Scotty, Daniel, Greg, Russ. If I missed you, forgive me. Everyone who watched, we appreciate you. Make sure you like and subscribe. And most importantly, Dolphin fans, fins up. See you all tomorrow.